Greetings and salutations, friends, and welcome back. I apologize for missing showtime tonight. This is the first time this has ever happened. But I got to the cabin and I was unpacking and I was doing some things and I thought I had plenty of time. And then I looked at the clock and it was 10 of 9 and I knew that I couldn't get myself together in time. So, we're starting a little bit later tonight. And we are once again covering the drama-rama surrounding one Emery Smith and his fiancé coming out and spilling the beans about all of his fraudery, fakery, and bullshit. It's a great story, friends. But before we begin, I talked about previously us doing this musical guest. And I really tried to get enough guests to do it every show. But I didn't get many takers, and some people even were giving me copyrighted music, and I was getting copyright strikes, which is kind of not something I want to do here, and then I have to trim it out. So I thought in lieu of a musical guest, we would take submissions from anybody who has something cool and artistic that they would like to share in video format, preferably. But if you have a song, just put the song to video, put a spectroscope or something, or a picture of the band or songwriter in the video. That would be fine. And you can email that to me at truthseekershow@gmail.com. So, I kind of reached out to some creative and artistic friends that I have looking for stuff that I could share. And luckily I found something, and it's got aliens, dancing aliens. And so I thought just for something different tonight, we'll begin the show with let's just say a special guest. And when we return, we're going to go back to our coverage of Emery Smith's ex-fiancé spilling the beans on him. It's a great story. She did a part 3 video. I've already listened to it. And it's got the best, juiciest bits in that one. And we're gonna cover it and do commentary on it and talk about it with the live chat when we return. Boy, I don't even know what to say about what I'm about to play, except it's definitely interesting. Here we go, friends. Let's welcome tonight's special guest.
There you go.
Drum beats and guitar riffs to the World Wide Web, from one countryside to the next. It's an international love affair, and new music is our gift to the free world. Our freedom of expression is only limited by our creativity, so we stand together, and because of it, our voices are unlimited. We represent every corner of the world as we broadcast our message to every country, state, city, and town. Our supporters have expressed tremendous gratitude for taking the high road and giving them free music again to the world.
Okay, and we are back. Boy, that is, if nothing else, it's extremely artistic and interesting. That's what I will say, and it's fun to watch. If you're just joining us now, we have been covering the strange saga of Emery Smith's ex-fiancé coming out and spilling the beans on all his fakery, fraudery, and bullshit. He literally lives a life of bullshit, and she nails him for it throughout 3 videos now. She's up to 3 videos now. I think it's something like 4.5 hours now. But don't worry, I listened to all of it, so you don't have to. And we're going to share her latest video and talk about it tonight. But I have to cut the first 40 minutes or so, or we're never going to get through it. Well, actually, we're going to come in at right around 30 minutes. So I'm going to bring you up to speed. In the first 30 minutes of the video, she details, after a year, I think, of speaking to him on the phone constantly, them becoming girlfriend and boyfriend, and then engaged and planning children over the phone before ever meeting, she finally flies out and meets Emery Smith at some very nice hotel in a college town somewhere. She wouldn't say where. And while she was there, her and Emery Smith did the boom boom. Yeah. They got busy. Yeah. So I guess after talking to him on the phone for an hour, she flies out to a nice hotel. He's saying things to the hotel staff like, "Can you get my wife's bag?" Calling her his wife as soon as she gets there. Very strange. But they're there for a weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I guess, I guess he gave it to her, friends. He got to give it to her. Yeah. They did the nasty. They bumped uglies. They did the boom boom in this hotel room. But sometime around Sunday, she begins to be suspicious. And she mentions that in the first half hour that Emery Smith, who she thought was all natural and wouldn't take any chemicals or drugs, had to go to CVS. And somebody joked on Twitter earlier, "Be right back. Got to go pick up my super soldier, super secret pills at CVS." She would later find out that those were anti-anxiety medicines he was taking. She also mentioned in the first half hour that his hands were shaking the whole time she was with him, which for those who are perhaps naive or unaware, as she was, that is the shakes and something someone gets when they're a severe alcoholic and they don't drink. Now, I don't want to share too many personal things, but I will say this. I grew up with an alcoholic in my home. It was, in fact, my mother. Irish. Yeah. And boy, she drank. And if she didn't drink, she would get the shakes. That's the level of her alcoholism, which would eventually, unfortunately, kill her. She died from alcohol-related illnesses. So while I'm well aware that if you see somebody shaking, it's a good, indicator that they're probably an alcoholic in withdrawal. And it should be noted that when you are an alcoholic to the level that you get alcohol-related tremors, you can't just stop drinking. You could literally die, which means that his level of alcoholism is truly a medical problem at this point. He cannot stop drinking or risk serious illness or even death. So while it may be perceived that we're sort of making fun of Emery Smith and his misfortune of this girl coming out and spilling all his secrets about what a con artist he is, but at the same time, I have some empathy for his apparent addiction. And what I would hope for him is that he gets to a medically sponsored detox and rehab program. He needs that. He cannot just quit drinking on his own. He needs medical supervision and an inpatient rehab to beat this thing, or it could kill him. And, so while it's we joke around a lot here, but I truly do feel, and hope, I would hope that somebody close to this guy gets him in a real program so he could finally get some help. We've heard we've heard other people sort of turn on him and talk about his alcoholism in the past. His former father-in-law, this John McKenzie, points on the curve. It's not a laughing matter that somebody is that much of an alcoholic. And while I do have sympathy for him, I don't have sympathy for how he has conned people, lied to people, and literally stolen money from people for making up fake shit. Like the deep state attacked him when he was actually in the hospital for alcohol poisoning. A lot of things are becoming more clear as more and more people are coming out and telling the truth about Emery Smith and this double life he's leading. In his public persona, he's some kind of hero and he's saving Earth, right? And he's special and he's important and he's got, what is it, 2 or 3 PhDs? I forget. I think he contradicts himself, right? She even says that on this video. Sometimes he says he had 3 PhDs. In the Q&A session, he said he had 2 PhDs. Where are they at, Emery Smith? Where's your PhDs? From where? Right? And he likes to pretend he's some kind of like doctor doing surgeries, but he's like just wearing a lab coat or something. He has this weird narcissistic sense of self-importance, like he's going to save Earth. He's telling this girl he's going on secret missions for Donald Trump and the UN, right? The UN Science Department, and he's developing treatments for the current health crisis for Trump, right? His whole life is literally a lie, when the truth is that this guy is a drink from the minute he gets up till the minute he passes out for the day, alcoholic, falling down drunk, alcoholic, literally falling down drunk. As she will detail in this video, he busted up his head and his face because he got drunk and fell over into a fireplace at his other girlfriend's house. So I was detailing this weekend, this girl spends with him, doing the nasty. She was doing the boom, boom, boom with Emery Smith, right? He flew out someplace, had her fly in just so he can get in her pants. After literally lying through his teeth to her for about a year on the phone and FaceTime, telling her he's going on secret missions to Antarctica and shit. Right? He's working for Donald Trump. He's working for the model UN. He's saving Earth. He's saving the oceans, right? After all that, he finally goes and meets her and gets in her pants. Good for him. Good for her. If it was good for her, I don't know. She doesn't talk about the quality of sex, just that they had sex, and also that Emery Smith wanted to begin having children right away. And she was just like, well, okay then, why not? Maybe he just wanted to bareback her. I don't know. I mean, it could have been that he just wanted to bareback her. I'm not a fan of condoms. I can't say that I blame the guy, but to tell a girl, let's have a baby just so you can bareback her seems a little bit dishonest to me. I don't know. I know. Oh, I almost missed it. I want to take a moment to thank Ann Chirashi for a $10 super sticker. Thank you for your kindness, your generosity, and your support. This is a viewer-supported show, and every dollar does help keep us producing these shows. So if you want to see more and better shows, there's a money button down there in the live chat, and you too can throw money at me. But for now, I want to thank Ann Chirashi, and I also want to thank All Around Arbiter, who I somehow missed a $2 super chat yesterday. So thank both Ann Chirashi for this very generous super sticker purchase of $10. I think that's $10 Australian. Thank you for your kindness, your generosity, and support. And thank All Around Arbiter, a longtime show supporter and continuing show supporter, for a kind and generous $2 super chat donation. It really does help us to keep the ball rolling here. Your generosity is much appreciated. I have an attitude of gratitude for both of you. Thank you both. And you too can donate and throw money at me. And when people do that, every time somebody sends a super chat, it makes a Stephen Cambion smile. And it makes a Stephen Cambion hater get pissed off. Don't you want to piss off my haters? Don't you want to make me smile? Don't you want to make me and help me to properly praise the cash? That's what it's all about, friends. Right? sometimes it's about praising the cash. So I want to thank Ann Shirashi and All Around Arbiter as I praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash. Thank God, hallelujah. People all over the world are sending me money. And as they bless me and my show, I send blessings to them and theirs. God bless all of you helping us to move the show forward. You can also become a Patreon supporter. Just released a couple of songs. The links for that are in the About section or down there in the description of the video, or send a PayPal donation. All right, now let's get back to this story. So she does the dirty with the dude, her and Emery, bang, bang, bang. And I guess he's barebacking her because he tells her that they're going to start having children right now. The first day he meets her, he's going to start having babies and barebacking. I mean, yeah, because that makes sense. But anyway, she lets him bareback her, I guess. Yeah, she basically says she lets him bareback her. So she gets barebacked, right? Raw. And I found it interesting that she made no mention of how anything went. Just that they, very matter of fact, like we had sex and he said he wanted to have children. Okay, so you have sex. So I guess they had sex a couple of times between Friday and Sunday. And then on Sunday, she starts digging around and looking at Instagram posts of people that she knows are on Emery Smith's so-called team, right? And it turns out that some girl on his team was posting like 50 pictures of her and Emery Smith on a beach in Hawaii, kissing on the lips together like a couple. She loses her shit, shows Emery Smith this, and he claims that that's some crazy bitch. Yeah, she's just a crazy bitch. No, I might have been drunk. I don't know. That's not my girlfriend. This girl asks him, is this your girlfriend? No, that's not my girlfriend. I'm not in a relationship with her. No. Yeah. Turns out, even before I heard this third part that she just put up today, that I was right. And in fact, the reason that Emery Smith wouldn't return her calls or texts or pick up the phone when she called is because he had a live-in girlfriend. Not a wife, but a live-in girlfriend, which is just about, the same thing, I guess, almost. So it turns out that Emery Smith decides that she's a crazy bitch and he's going to get a restraining order against that crazy bitch posting these pictures of him kissing her, even though the truth is that's his live-in girlfriend and had been his live-in girlfriend that he's been living with for a year and a half, right? But he tells the side piece girl whose videos we've been sharing, he tells the side piece fiance that that's a crazy bitch. I'm not banging her. That's not my girlfriend. That's just some crazy bitch. But don't worry, because yes, she works for me, but she's a crazy bitch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get her a restraining order, and I'm going to order her to get the fuck out my house. Crazy bitch. Crazy bitch. Emery Smith says this crazy bitch got to get the fuck out my house. Okay? We got to get this crazy bitch out because I got this new hotter side piece fiance that I want to keep. So he tells the side piece fiance that he just barebacked. He tells her, I'm going to get a restraining order. I'm going to fire her. I'm going to throw this bitch out my house. Tell her to get all her shit out. Yeah. That did not go well for him, as we're going to hear. Because as it turns out, the house belonged to her. It was in her name. And he's telling side bitch that he's going to throw out main bitch, while main bitch actually owns the house, and he has no legal right to throw anybody out of anywhere. Oh, it's great. It's a great story. So, typical cheating dude, he just tries to lie his way out of it. Yeah, that's not my girlfriend, even though he lives with her. Yeah, we're not in a relationship, even though he had been for a year and a half. This shit is crazy. So, I'm going to put my fair use banner. I think I got us caught up to the first half hour. Into as the alien globe turns here, right? Oh, where is the fair use? Oh, and I have some other fun stuff to talk about tonight if we have time. Lots going on. Okay, so fair use. This is a transformative work. We're educating the public and critiquing the video that we are sharing. This is covered under fair use and is allowable by law. We are going to be discussing the video that we're sharing, and we're educating the public about Emery Smith, the con artist. So this video that we're sharing is entitled, I Was Engaged to Emery Smith, Part 3. We finally meet, and the real truth comes out. Oh, wow. All right. At least she's easy on the eyes, guys. What can I say? All right. So we're going to go from here. I think we're pretty much caught up, but if we're not, I may stop and explain further. But I think we're good. Yeah.
Not going to be pretty. Listen, I've been having a relationship with this woman, but I was secretly planning on being with you, and I was going to leave her for you. I don't know what, but if he would have told me the truth, things would have been maybe different. But instead, the entire conversation, Emery denied ever having a relationship with this woman. He kept saying that she's crazy. He kept getting mad at me for even accusing him of such a thing. That he loves me.
Hey, side piece bitch. How dare you accuse me of having another bitch? A main bitch. Even though I do got a main bitch that I live with, how dare you accuse me of that shit?
And he would never be with this person, and that this person's crazy, and this is his girlfriend, right? And I was so fucking confused. But the fact that Emery was not answering questions and was just denying it, and then randomly saying like, oh no, we kind of, we slept together a long time ago, but we were never, ever, 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 ever in a relationship. And he just kept changing shit. And it was not, no, I was not, like, the blinders have been taken off. I am not fucking blinded anymore. I am woke as fuck, and I'm interrogating your fucking ass, and you are fucking
and what I love about this is that Emery Smith, he did the gamble. He's like, I'll just lie and say my main bitch is not my main bitch. And since there's some distance involved between these two, she's in Florida, he's in Colorado, I believe, he figured he might be able to pull that off until he figures this out, I think. And he did not anticipate this girl's tenacity because she goes after him.
So at this point, his answers were just not what I was looking for. I was like, he's fucking lying. And especially towards the end of the conversation, he kind of flipped everything on me and was blaming me. And maybe you were doing something. Maybe you were having sex with your ex. Maybe you were, I don't know you. And I'm like, what? Yeah. And just literally flipping it. And if you think that I'm with her, then I want to break up with you. It made absolutely no sense, you guys. Okay. I'm so detail oriented. I'm sorry. Everything's so.
Yeah, you're a little too much details, honey. Move the story along. Come on, man. I don't want to be here until next year with this.
Long. So Emery was, being really sketchy. So I decided I'm gonna fucking send this girl a message on Facebook. Sorry, on Instagram. So send her a message on Instagram. And funny for me, she didn't get to see that message because Emery had taken her phone and deleted this message.
Oh.
Anyways, so then I started.
So poor Emery Smith is monitoring his main bitch's phone and deleting messages from his side bitch to his main bitch on Instagram. This has got to be a very stressful time for one Emery Smith trying to keep his main bitch and his side bitch from getting together and comparing notes on his dumb ass.
People that were close to her. And I'm like, hey. And I went back to that woman who, he had told me that this is her best friend. And I'm like, hey, is Blank and Emery together? And she's like, yeah, who are you? And I'm like, I'm his fiancé. And she's like, what the fuck are you talking about? They've been together for 1.5 years. And I was like, what? And when she said they've been together for 1.5 years. And when she said that, I was speechless. I'm like, what are you talking about? And I don't understand what the fuck is happening. And she's like, who the fuck are you? And I'm like, I'm his fiance. She's like, what are you talking about? And all of a sudden, all these things started to reveal themselves. and all my mysteries about Emery started to come to light. And I had
boy, it takes a lot, but once she finally hears that she's the side bitch and Emery already had a main bitch, she is not happy about it. Not happy at all.
To this woman for 2 hours, and she was speaking to the girlfriend and communicating, and the girlfriend had told her that she wanted to talk to me and give me her, to get my number, and they want, how do I explain this? I don't want to say her name. So the girlfriend wanted my number and wanted to have a conversation with me so that we can understand what the fuck's happening.
Yeah, they're gonna get together, compare notes. Emery Smith, you are fucked, bro.
And you know how he always called me like Special K. Well, he called her Princess D. And all of a sudden, really fucking weird shit that wasn't aligning is all of a sudden aligning. So so the girlfriend calls me on FaceTime and talks to me for 2 hours, and we're both in utter shock at what we're discovering. And it started to all make sense, you guys.
Yeah, I guess talking to his live-in girlfriend, things would start to make sense. And that, I don't understand her not understanding or suspecting, that he had a girlfriend when he wasn't ever answering her phone calls, or he took way too long to respond to texts and things like that. I don't know. Most women that I know would be suspicious and immediately suspect other girl. But she didn't, because she thought Emery was off on a secret mission. But now she's talking to the main girlfriend and suddenly realizes, gee, maybe that's why he wasn't calling me back.
Everything that I questioned, everything that was fucking weird, all of a sudden started to make sense. This is where shit takes a serious, unexpected turn after me and Emery's girlfriend start talking and finding out what's really been going on in the last half a year. And this was mind-blowing, mind-fucking, like, it was just the most insanest shit I've ever heard, but it also made so much sense. It was so hard to believe, but it made so much sense. So I am going to now be revealing all the fucking bullshit that you guys have been sold and that I've been sold. So, for starters, she's like, excuse me, I'm gonna get fired. The house is under my name.
Oh no!
Everything is under my name. So he's gonna remove me out of my house? And I'm like, what? I thought it was his house. I thought there was a team. She's like, there is no team, Kim.
There's no
the team is me, his girlfriend, and his manager. That is the team. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I know where the house is. I've seen the model of the house. I know that it has multiple rooms. And it...
I wonder how the firms do.
1 second, friends. Let me let that go by and we will continue. Bear with me, friends. All right, 1 second, friends. I got to share it again. Again, in the future, I will take these and put them somewhere, like download them and put them somewhere where they won't have ads, so we won't have to deal with this. Again, citing fair use. Let's go back to the video. And by the way, she told Emery Smith that aliens live in his house in the backyard. I'm not kidding you. He said that he had aliens living at his house in the backyard.
And his manager. That is the team. And I'm like...
Yeah, and he's telling her the whole time that he's got a security team, a medical team, a research team. He's got all these teams. He's got a whole team of people living with him, helping him save the world. And it turns out there's no team. There's his girlfriend and his manager.
What do you mean? Like, I know where the house is. I've seen the model of the house. I know that it has multiple rooms. And I was like, what do you mean? But like, there's ETs that live there. And she started to burst into tears, cracking up. She's like, what are you talking about? And Emery always used to tell me too that he doesn't remember what happens sometimes, and his team needs to remind him. And I said that to her, and she's like, yeah, I'm the team. And I'm like, what? But like, Emery has a security team. She's like, yeah, no. I do security for him sometimes, but like I'm his girlfriend. And I'm like, what? Like, it
She's
started.
even when she's told straight to her face, she still is not getting it because she so believed this grifter con artist about all his bullshit. It's kind of sad.
To get real weird, you guys. And I'm like, I don't understand. And so then what had happened was she had explained to me that the reason that she had uploaded these pictures was because Emery was supposed to be in a rehab center. And remember how he told me that he was like on this mission in an underground facility saving children with scorpion venom, and not to contact his manager, not to contact anybody because he's on this top secret mission. He's not going to have a phone and blah, 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 blah. Yeah,
Oh no.
that was Emery in rehab.
So it turns out that the top secret mission that he was on was going to detox. And I can't say that I blame him. If I had to go to detox, I guess I'd prefer to keep it a secret. But I wouldn't tell people I'm on a secret mission while I was there. I would tell people I'm on a vacation or visiting family or something.
And his girlfriend was like, you know, he basically was there for 2 days, which clearly not trying to get better. But he was there for 2 days and he had checked out early and went to meet me. And I had absolutely no fucking idea that this was happening behind my back. And so he didn't want to tell her or his team where the fuck he was and who he was with, and they were very worried about him.
Yeah, so it turns out he checks out his main bitch at home thinks that he's in rehab. I don't want to keep saying bitch. I apologize. But it's kind of funny and comical, you know, main bitch, side bitch, main fiance, side fiance. Okay. So his main girlfriend thinks that he is in rehab, even helps him get into a rehab. He checks himself out after 2 days and then immediately goes and flies someplace to meet her and bang her. Great guy, Emery Smith. Just a cavalcade of lies, this guy. He's lying to everyone in his life. So is it any surprise that a guy that would lie this much in his personal life would make fake stories and fake shit up about aliens?
And so his girlfriend thought, you know, it's or he's partying again, or he's with somebody and he's cheating on me. And if he is, I'm going to post these pictures and that person's going to find me, which is literally what had happened. Now,
yeah, this one went stalking
also
for
another
her.
weird red flag is like the first night we were, you know, in this college area, I'll call it, this college city. Emery had said, "Hey, I really want to go party and dancing tomorrow." And I was like, "What? Like, what do you mean?" Because I didn't think that he does normal people shit, right? And like, you're, what do you mean you want? Like, this is a college town, and I don't even fucking go out.
Maybe he wanted to go to a super soldier dance off. Did you ever think of that?
The clubs and party, you guys know that. And he's like, I want to go out and party and you know, let's go party, let's go dancing. Like, we didn't end up doing that because we ended up getting really tired on Saturday, and we ended up doing like this crazy hike at night under the stars. But it was so weird. And so all these things start to like make sense to me. He wanted to go party, you know, and get fucking wasted. And then he told me, right, you know, when I was looking at the pictures, he's like, oh, maybe I was wasted. I was like, but you don't drink. What are you talking about? You were wasted. And all of a sudden, all these things started to make sense as I'm talking to his girlfriend. And she's like, Kim, Emery is a heavy alcoholic.
Yeah, and I kind of do feel bad for this girl because she must not have had any experience growing up with alcoholics in her family or in her life, because anybody who did would recognize some of these signs very quickly. And apparently, even after seeing him shaking, she didn't recognize that he was an alcoholic. But then in other areas, she says that she read like stuff on Reddit about him being an alcoholic. So I don't know.
And I was like, what are you talking about? But he's like, holistic and healthy and like healing energy and everything natural. And like, what do you mean? And then she started showing me, we were FaceTiming, and she's showing me all of his bottles. And like, I've seen his whole fucking house because I FaceTimed him only 2,000 million times. And all of a sudden, everything started to make sense. All those weird middle of the night phone calls that I thought were PTSD, where Emery was being fucking crazy, slurring his words, couldn't fucking speak, falling, eating peanut butter with his fucking hands, like dipping it and like all over his face, being insane, sending me weird messages that made no sense with letters.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't want to say this girl's a dizzy blonde or anything, but Jesus, like most people would recognize that as drunken behavior. But okay, she didn't. It never clicked to her. She thought it was PTSD.
Thing that happened after his surgery. All of a sudden, I was like, "Oh my God, what the fuck is this?" And you guys don't understand. Like,
She's woke now.
the most spiritual, clean, healthy person I've ever met in my life.
Yeah, I think she's just a ditzy
And
blonde, bro.
she's like, not only that, like Emery does a lot of heavy drugs, and some of them are cocaine and Molly and ecstasy. And he also takes a lot of painkillers, and he takes some of my painkillers and a lot of anxiety pills and Oxycontin. And she starts showing me everything. And I'm like, oh my God, this is like the reason why he was fucking hiding the CVS medicine. I don't know what the fuck, right? And just everything started to make sense. Now, you guys.
Yeah, it turns out he went to CVS to get anti-anxiety medicine, which is a very common medication that is given to somebody who is suffering from alcoholism and attempting to quit. They'll give you an anti-anxiety med to kind of take the tension off, a little bit. It helps some people.
Guys, I've never done drugs. I don't drink, like, never. Like, if I drink, it's like a fucking glass of champagne, and I'm drunk from that little glass, like buzzed, like I wouldn't be able to even know the symptoms of a person. And it was interesting too, because I had sent Elizabeth a picture of me and Emery, and she's like, and she had said this to me, she's like, his pupils are very, very, very small in this picture, like he is on something. And I was like, well, mine are. I mean, the sun is facing us. She's like, no, Kim, his pupil are like, she's pin drops, and yours aren't like that. She said only people that take Oxycontin or antidepressant or something have this stuff. And all of a sudden I was like, oh my fucking God. Oh my God. Oh my God. And my world and my fucking life came tumbling down.
Oh, that's a shame for her.
Learning who the fuck this person is. And his girlfriend's like sending me like a happy Halloween card from Emery that says like, to my Princess D, and like all this stuff. And it says her name and his last name. And she has 2 tattoos of his name on her body. Now, they're not legally married. But I was like, what the fuck is this crazy shit? The shit is fucking crazy. It is crazy.
Too
and
bad.
all of a sudden it made sense why Emery can't remember things. Everything started to make sense. Now, to top it all off, I didn't even believe her that he was...
Yeah, I would think that your memory really goes to shit when you're drinking that heavy every day. When you drink to an alcoholic blackout almost every day, your memory centers are shot. It's worse than pot for you, I would think.
He was going to a rehab center. Like, she started sending me text messages from him, and you can tell that it's him because I know how he speaks and how he writes, saying, thank you so much for getting me into the clinic. I love you so much. And he's like writing this while he's like in the bathroom, and I'm in the living, in their fucking area. Thank you so much for helping me get clean, and for the...
So he's with the side girl, texting the main girl, pretending to still be at rehab while he's doing the dirty with the side girl in a hotel suite. Nice.
Detox center and all of that. You guys, like, what the fuck? So anyways, we talk on the phone for 2 hours, and I tell her and her best friend, like, wait, but Emery was working with Trump, and they like bursted into laughter. Like, he never worked with Trump. And like, I'm like, what about the UN? Like laughing. Like they were hysterically laughing at all of this nonsense that he had told us and me. And then just everything unfolded.
You know, I wonder what it's like for the main girlfriend. Like, does she know that he's out there on the internet making up fake shit? Like he goes on secret missions, or he works for Trump, or he works for the UN. Does she know that he's doing that? And if she does know, how, I don't know if I could live with somebody that was outright conning people on the internet as a job, right? Strange.
And his girlfriend's like, I'm like, but he's always working on missions, like, you know, and she's like, Kim, there is no fucking missions.
Oh no, Emery's not going on secret missions. I am so disappointed. I really believed Emery Smith was going on super secret missions to save the world.
And I was like, what? She's like, Emery hasn't been on a mission since we started dating, and he hasn't been on a mission in many, many, many years. And he's not working on any projects.
But that would imply he went on missions before, and I don't believe that either.
Is drink every single day. And when I say drink, I mean drink. I mean, I know that this sounds dramatic and like I can't even fathom this, but she says that Emery drinks a gallon of vodka a day, and mixes it with drugs. And for those of you who are wondering why Emery hasn't had a Q&A in a very long time, I think it's like 7 or 8 weeks at this point, it's because he is not sober. And his manager won't allow him to do one until he gets clean. But he can't because he fucked it up. Remember that time where I told you that he was being crazy on there? Yeah, I'm sure she doesn't want another episode of that.
Apparently, and Emery Smith was drinky on one of his Q&A sessions that people pay big bucks for, and his manager was very upset about that and decided he couldn't do more Q&As until he cleaned himself up. But to show you that birds of a feather flock together, his manager is just as much of a con artist as he is, because she starts sending out emails saying that Emery Smith is on secret missions to Antarctica, when really he's just too drunk to show up and do the Q&A sessions. Great.
Another episode of that. I don't think anybody wants to pay for something like that, but she's been covering for him through emails, writing that he's in Antarctica and working on some serious projects, which is all fucking bullshit, covering for him, which I understand that this is her client and that's what you got to do.
That's what you got to do? You got to lie to everyone? No, it's not what you do. I don't know. I would hope that somebody that's just suffering from alcohol addiction or any other addiction or any other, problem like that would just be honest with the audience. And, I don't know.
But the reality of all this is that what's been happening is literally insanity. So Emery doesn't fucking work on projects, and he doesn't work on missions, you guys. He hasn't in many years. She's known him for, I think, like a year and a half or 2 years, never worked on a mission. She also says that there has never been a day where Emery has been clean. Like, he drinks every single day, and if he doesn't, he starts shaking, which makes sense why he was shaking when he was with me. Anyways, it is so hard.
Yeah, and I just want to mention that it's quite common for some alcoholics to be able to put on a front that they are okay and they're not, suffering from alcoholism. They can do it for a day or two, but it's not easy for them. In my case, we used to call my mother's version of that Sober Sally. Some school event or something, she would sober up. Sometimes. Sometimes she wouldn't. But most of the time, when there was some family event, social event, a graduation or something going on where she had to put on a front, she would become Sober Sally for the day and act like everything was fine. And then as soon as that was over, she'd get out the vodka, right? Or the wine or the beer. My mother wasn't really a vodka person.
Hard for me to wrap my head around this stuff.
Whiskey. She was a whiskey lady. And that's weird, especially as she was an old lady, going to the finding her at a local bar with like 4 shots lined up of whiskey. It's a strange thing. It's a strange hell I don't wish on anybody. But I just wanted to mention, these people with alcoholism can go pretend for a little while, but then they usually have a binge right after because they laid off for a day, or God forbid 2.
For months I've been lied to that he is on secret.
Sorry, friends. Hold on. There's not much left of this, and we'll have some time for comments and questions, and I'll get with the live chat. Let me just cue this again. Get past this. Get past these stupid commercials. 1 second. Yeah, so sad story so far for this girl, Okay. So Emery's not going on any missions. That was all bullshit. And, I hope that people who buy his Q&A sessions and send him money and believe in his bullshit alien fairy tales are watching this. Because this girl was very close to him, as was his living girlfriend. And there was no missions, okay? He's not a super soldier. He's not a whistleblower. He's not a government insider. He's a con artist alcoholic.
Planet, cleaning the oceans, saving the world. I've been lied to for months, and I've allowed it to happen because I thought that I have to sacrifice because he's sacrificing for the world and saving the world and working on all these missions, and it was all a fucking lie. The man couldn't save himself.
Yeah, that's very
That's
sad.
the truth. I don't know what fucking crazy mission he was on in leading up to March. There's days in me that I think that maybe his real mission was maybe to try to get clean, and maybe break up with his girlfriend. Maybe he wanted to put that chapter behind him. I don't know. I really don't know what was going on in Emery's head this entire fucking time. I have no idea. I don't think I'll ever understand. But this is beyond PTSD.
I don't get why she doesn't understand. Like, you got conned, just like he conned you out of your $50 to start attending his Q&A sessions, which is where you met him. And just like he cons all those people, lying to them, telling them that he's working for Donald Trump and the UN and he's going on secret missions, he conned you too.
This is sociopath, pathological liar who is a heavy drug user and a heavy alcoholic who hides behind this image that he created, and he literally lives a double life. And it's sad, it's like the Emery on TV and the Emery that I fell in love with is this like amazing charmer, charismatic, intelligent, compassionate human. And then there's like the reality of who Emery is, which is a person who literally stays at home every single day and gets wasted from the moment he opens his eyes to the moment he goes to sleep. He doesn't remember what happens to him, and his girlfriend has to remind him every day. And that mark on his forehead happened because he fell into a fucking fireplace, and she was fucking pissed at him that he fucking ruined his face. And like, there was something so sketchy about his whole fucking forehead thing. He told me so many different stories about what had happened, and when I saw him in person, like, I'll never tell you what happened.
Yeah, and again, I just want to mention, growing up with an alcoholic, my mother would sometimes drink too much and fall down, and she would cut herself or bash her face in. It's a very common thing. When that's literally where the term falling down drunk comes from, because people who drink to the point of extreme excess, especially to the point of an alcoholic blackout, they're going to fall. They're going to get up to do something. They're going to fall. My mother would fall, smash her face up, or cut herself. And she always had some lie or excuse for what happened. But we all knew. We knew she got drunk and fell. She got drunk and smashed her own face. This is exactly what Emery Smith did this is a very common trait amongst so-called, and I'm not saying I condone the term, but it's a term people use, falling down drunks.
I'll never tell you the real story. And she's like, yeah, he fucking, he was so drunk and he fell forward and he hit his head into like the wood or like the metal of the wood. And I know that he has a fireplace in the backyard. And, it's all too much for me to handle and for anyone to handle this sort of information. It's really unfortunate. It's really fucking sad. And I have compassion for him because I don't understand what went so wrong for this individual to have such a high level of lack of self-love. A person who is truly conscious and aware and soulful and compassionate and all of that would not be literally killing themselves every fucking day.
Or the facade that he's compassionate and spiritual and intelligent and knowledgeable is a trick and an illusion. And who he really is a drunk. Take from that what you will, but maybe I'm biased by my own experience, but alcoholics put on false fronts all the time. It's very common, and I've experienced it. And I just want to say about this girl, it's easy to make fun of her. We can call her a ditzy blonde for not realizing what a con artist this guy was, or whatever. But I give her a lot of credit because this guy lied to her for over a year, right? He talked to her on the phone every day, right? He told her he loved her. He wanted to have children. He wanted to get married to her. And really, it was about meeting her at a hotel room and banging her for the weekend. He laid all that groundwork just to go and cheat on his live-in girlfriend with her. And even after she was lied to and, had sex with this guy under pretty false pretenses and all of this damage that Emery Smith did to her, she's still compassionate because of his alcoholism and his problems. That probably says a lot about this girl.
That part is really sad for me. It's very unfortunate. I never want anything bad to happen physically to Emery, even though he's done fucking horrible things to me and fucked with me for a whole half a year and lied to me about
half a year.
Countless things that I literally try to make a list, but it's just insane. It's insane. The amount of things that he has lied about. I would never want anything bad to physically happen to him ever, but the reality is that Emery is portraying himself one way, and in reality, he's a completely different person.
And again, that is, she has probably zero experience with alcoholics or drug addicts. It's very, very common for them to portray themselves one way and be a closet drug addict or a closet alcoholic. Some people suffer that in relative silence and they hide it away. They compartmentalize it, right? It's literally like having a demon on your back and you don't want people to see the demon. So you got to hide the demon somehow, right? But sometimes that demon's going to get out, whatever you do, sometimes that demon is going to get out.
But he's also really good at fooling people.
There you go.
Like fooling me and fooling his girlfriend and fooling his manager and fooling everyone around him into thinking that he is one person when he's not that person. I just keep wondering constantly what dramatic thing had to have happened in order for Emery to do this to himself and to be this way. Like something fucked up must have happened because people just don't wake up and just go fucking destroy other people's lives and their own without giving two fucks about it. Like that is very concerning to me. So a lot of
I just want to stop it right there. That's another thing. If somebody's an alcoholic, I did it myself. You try to say, like in my case, to my mother, who I had to take care of my alcoholic mother for 20 something years after the death of my father. And it was very troubling, and it was it was one of the most difficult things I've ever had to do, because she just would never stop drinking. I sent her to rehab, paid for it, because her medical wouldn't cover a 30-day. I don't know, whatever. We did everything that we could possibly do to help her, and I would even try to talk to her and say, like, what's so terrible that's making you drink like this every day, and try to kill yourself with this? And she would never really give me an answer. And, the truth is that an alcoholic is an alcoholic. They're going to drink. They're going to drink when things are tough. They're going to drink when things are good, right? Let's celebrate. Things are great. Let's drink all night, right? They're going to drink when things are bad or when something bad happens. Any excuse to drink. There doesn't need to be I've seen it in more cases than in my own family. Sometimes there's just no reason. There's no rhyme or reason. They're just going to drink like that. But what I will say is, imagine Emery Smith's situation, right? Imagine being Emery Smith and knowing that every day, in order to make a living, you have to lie to people. Not only do you have to lie to people, but you have to keep coming up with new lies because the old lies are getting found out, or because people are boring of your old fake alien, stories. You need new ones. So you got to invent new fake stories every day. Emery Smith has to. We've said it about other people. This would apply to Corey Good. This would apply to David Wilcock, and every other fraudster who is knowingly making up fake stories to sell to stupid people. And I apologize. I actually have the wood stove going. I'm loading it here. I have it on super low, but it was like 48 outside earlier, and the temperature's dropping. We're up in the mountains here. Yes, it gets that cold at night, even in the middle of summer. So I apologize. I'm loading this wood stove. So my point is that every day Emery Smith has to get up in the morning and know that he has to lie to people and make up new lies and, tell them new lies to cover the old lies. His entire life is based on lying to people and making up fake stories about aliens, right? And conspiracy garbage. That's got to be a difficult thing to live with. And maybe, just maybe, knowing that he's lying to people every day to make money would wear on his conscience. It would wear on any man's conscience, I would think. Any decent human anyway. Some people are so, sociopathic and use people so much they don't feel empathy. They don't feel sorry for lying to people constantly, right? But if he is feeling the effects of, feeling guilty for lying to people every day, that could be driving him to self-medicate. This is my opinion and my speculation. I'm certainly not a psychiatrist, psychologist, or mental health professional. I'm just speaking from my own experience, and this is my speculation on what may be going on with him. Maybe he's trying to escape from the world of lies that he has created around himself. You never know.
A lot of things don't align with Emery's stories. There's times where he said he had 2 PhDs. There's times where he says he has 3 PhDs. He's told me he's had 3. In the Q&A, he says he has 2. Never says what they're where he got them from. I mean, I'm guessing it was the military. Him wearing scrubs and pretending like he's doing surgery when he's actually drawing someone's blood. There's so many things that just don't fucking make sense with this man and his story. They don't. Anyways, guys, I talked a lot today. I'm going to take a quick break. I'll probably continue filming this tomorrow because it's like too much for my brain. I need to go eat something. I'll be back tomorrow. Finish the rest.
Yeah, and now she plays a phone conversation. And I don't know that we're going to listen to that because it's like 36 minutes. Like, it's long. Here's the gist of the phone conversation. She records herself confronting him about the girlfriend. But what Emery Smith doesn't know is that she's already talked to the girlfriend, and she knows that that's his girlfriend. She owns the house, that there's no way that he's throwing her out. And Emery Smith doubles down on all his lies, claiming that he's serving that crazy bitch with the main girl, who he's claiming is just some crazy stalker that works for him that he doesn't have a relationship with, even though he's living with her. He claims that he served her with legal paperwork, and she's going to get evicted and fired, and all this shit's going to happen to her if she doesn't get the fuck out of his house, even though it's not his house. So this girl kind of she set him up, knowing that she's already talked to his live-in girlfriend and knows the truth. They've been in a relationship for a year and a half. That he did indeed go to Hawaii with her and spend 2 weeks there kissing and hugging her on the beach and taking selfies, couple selfies, right? She knew the truth and confronts him, and he doubles down and lies and lies and lies and lies some more about everything, not realizing that his main, I'm going to do it one more time and I apologize, his main bitch and his side bitch have been talking. Emery Smith is so dumb, he doesn't realize that his live-in girlfriend, who he's been with for a year and a half, and this girl who he lied to for 6 months, told her he wanted to get married and engaged, and then flew her out somewhere to bang her, have been talking and comparing notes on fraud, con artist Emery Smith. So she confronts him, he lies, and then at the end, he kind of breaks up with her. Like, well, if you don't believe that I'm not banging her, then we're done. And she's like, well, okay then. Yeah, it's really, I cannot believe this entire story. First of all, this story really does. Yeah, so we're gonna end this here. We're not gonna play the whole phone conversation, but you can just put in the YouTube search bar, I was engaged to Emery Smith, and you'll find all 3 of these videos if you want to watch the whole thing, which I don't blame you for. This has been better than a reality TV show so far. This shit is better than Jerry Springer shit. We got a side bitch and a main bitch, and a side bitch and a main bitch get together, and they kind of plot against the asshole that was banging both of them. Yeah, it's good. It's great. But we've covered enough of this, I would think. Oh, and I want to thank Aquarian Grace for a kind and generous donation of $5. Very generous of you, Aquarian Grace. I thank you for your kindness, your generosity, and your support. We are a viewer-supported show, and the best way to help a viewer-supported show is to click that money button down there in the live chat. Money makes the world go round, and our show is no different. So it is through the kindness, the generosity, and the support of our viewers that we're able to continue doing these shows. If you want to see more and better of these shows, please do support us financially. So thank you, Aquarian Grace, for your kindness, your generosity, and support. I'm going to check in with the YouTube analytics just to make sure, because last night I missed one, and I want everybody to be aware that I read and profusely, I read every super chat, and I acknowledge every super chat, and I thank every single individual personally that sends us a super chat. I know that some shows just take the super chat and don't even thank anybody. I always found that strange, and God forbid our show ever gets so big that I can't read them all. I'll find a way. I will read them all. We're not going to not read a super chat. Every single person that is kind enough to throw a couple of bucks in the hat, we want to acknowledge and respect and thank, right? Let me see. I think I got it. Yeah, just bear with me, friends. I'm checking in with the YouTube. I'm checking in with YouTube because sometimes I miss a super chat, and we sure don't want to do that. Yeah, so we got him. Ann Shirashi with a kind and generous donation of $10 Australian. Aquarian Grace with a kind and generous donation of $5 US. And we had All Around Arbiter with a kind and generous donation of $2. Thank you all for your kindness, your generosity, and your support. It is truly much appreciated. I'm going to put that fair use banner down now. We're done with that. Yeah, and people have asked me to reach out to this girl and get her on as a guest. So I'm going to do that. I have no idea how to contact her, but I'm going to put our videos in her videos as replies. And then I'm going to ask her there. She'll come on and talk to us because I think I could inform her of some of Emery Smith's past cons and scams that we have previously covered here, like the time he and David Wilcock got together and ran a PayPal donation scam claiming that Emery Smith was under attack by the deep state and he had to be hospitalized. When it turns out, according to his own one-time father-in-law, he was hospitalized with alcohol poisoning, right? And let's not forget that Emery Smith was also involved in the Anaconda, I can never say it, Anaconda, whatever, that little alien of Dr. Stephen Greer. He helped push that con, right? The Out There channel. Did you see Tyler's cousin, Secure Team, out Tyler calling him a liar and a fraud? It was so funny. It was taken down the next day, but I got a copy in the live show. No. Boy, isn't that the kettle calling the pot black, though? Somebody from Third Phase of Moon is calling Tyler from Secure Team 10 a fraud? Okay. Those guys had more hoax videos than him at one point, I believe. Those are the two biggest UFO fraudster hoax channels on YouTube. And by the way, probably the two biggest UFO channels on YouTube. Funny how that works, right? Funny how that works. So, yeah, I'm going to do some shout outs. And I apologize if I don't get all of you, but I can only go so far back. So I'm going to say welcome to the show and shout out to AJ. Welcome to the show. Aquarian Grace, All Around Arbiter is here. Shout out to Out of Mind is here. Lee Veltman is here. But of course, Lee Veltman is in every single YouTube stream live chat. Everyone I've ever been in, Lee Veltman is there. I don't know how he does it. Someday he's going to have to explain it to me. Jolly Bridge Burner is here. Shout out to Lee Veltman and Jolly Bridge Burner. Nicholas Karupus, KB is here. Haven't seen you in some time, KB. Good to see you. All Around Arbiter, I mentioned. Ann Shirashi is here. Bernard Conkin is here. Shouldn't you be doing some alchemy shit, bro? What are you doing here? Don't you got some experiments going on, right? It ain't easy turning lead into gold, Bernard Conkin. You should be working on that. And by the way, message me. We'll try to do that show again next week. But I'm telling you, if you don't show up this time, then fuck you, bro. I'm just telling you. I'm telling you right now. For those that don't know, Bernard Conkin scheduled to be a guest, and then I was on air for an hour, and he never showed up. Yeah. But he was in traffic or something. I don't know. I forgive you, bro, but not twice. So we're going to schedule another try at that. And if it doesn't work, then fuck you. You're off the guest list forever. Okay. Tangible Block of Wisdom is here. I mentioned Jolly Bridge Burner. Shout out to those guys. Let's see. Renee Miss Jonaside is here. I hope you helped Jonaside have a good birthday yesterday. Tangible Block of Wisdom. The Sixth Sense is here. Let's see. I did see Terry Joyce earlier. Solar Marshall is here. And by the way, I just want to mention that I mistakenly credited something to Solar Warden when I meant Solar Marshall. And I don't want to say his real name, even though everybody knows it, whatever. I lose track of whether you're allowed to use Solar Marshall's real name or not. Sometimes you are, sometimes you're not. But what had happened is that there's another person in the live chat named Solar Warden. And so I kept seeing Solar Warden in the live chat. And once during the show, I mentioned something. And I think it was the show with, it was the show with Michael Schratt maybe. And I said, oh yeah, Solar Warden's done a lot of great research on this. I meant Solar Marshall, Dan. So I apologize because I don't want anybody's panties in a bunch, Solar Marshall, over credit, right? Okay, FGraph72 is here. Shout out to FGraph72. And shout out, of course, to Solar Marshall. Good to see you. Good to see you. Let's see who else we got. Conspiracy is here. Welcome to the show. Let me see if I got everybody. UFO Gandalf is here. Aquarian Grace is here, who I mentioned, I think. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show, UFO Gandalf. And Bry is here. Bri is here. Welcome to the show. And Bri with a very good comment. Who cares about his alcoholism and the two-timing? Why does this woman not address the fact that Emery Smith is a UFO con artist? Yeah, it's pretty clear that he's a UFO con artist at this point. And how this guy still has a career, I'll never know. But the same can be said for David Wilcock, and the same can be said for Emery Smith. You know, these guys just fool enough stupid people to keep the con going, right? And the Out There channel is here. Shout out to the Out There channel. Welcome to the show. Adam Bonifate is here. Welcome to the show. Pragmagic is here. Welcome to the show. AJ, who I think I mentioned, but welcome to the show. Let's see if we can get everybody here in the shout outs. Chris77 is here. Welcome to the show. I think I got all of you guys. And if not, Jonaside is here. And Chirashi is here. Shout out to Jonaside and Chirashi. Welcome to the show. Okay, we got all the shout outs out of the way. I want to make sure I acknowledge everyone. I saw somebody mention it's 52 where they are. It is 46 or 47 outside here. And one of the things that I really hate is I don't want to waste firewood in the summer. So if I could put on a sweater and be comfortable, I would. But I tried that earlier and I said, no, I'm cold. I'm just going to light a fire. Right now, I have a lot of firewood out there because I started processing firewood for the winter. But I hate to waste it, right? I hate to waste it on a summer night. You might need that on a winter night, right? So I kind of hate to use that, but okay. How does anyone fall for Emery Smith BS? He was talking nonsense from the beginning. Yeah, it seems like they are. Is it Adamine's birthday? Is it Adamine's birthday? Adamine, is it your birthday today? Or is somebody just messing with me? Don't mess with me. If it's somebody's birthday, I want to acknowledge that, right? But if it's not, I don't want to look like an asshole saying happy birthday to somebody that's not their birthday. KB says 98 today in Texas. 80, meow. Oh, I hate you. I would much rather be hot than be cold, right? And by the way, KB, that's one of the big upgrades that I'm here for this weekend. My wife let me come up here because there's some more stuff that needs to be done at the cabin. Here's what happened, because I'm in trouble for this, KB. I finished the kitchen. She loved it. She loved the kitchen all finished. The ceilings are all finished. The walls are all finished. Everything in the kitchen is finished, with the exception of a few little things. Like I got to run an outlet still, and I have the drains working in the sink, but I got to put a pump and a tank in so that this kitchen sink works fully. But other than that, kitchen's fully done. But here's what happened. You know, I put insulation in the walls and the ceilings, and then I covered all that with wood. And now it's a little stuffy in there at night, especially. So I got to cut a hole and put in, like a room air conditioner in for her. That's my mission this weekend. Alter Channel says the cabin is pretty nice. Or I'm sorry, Adam says the cabin looks pretty nice. Yeah, it's an adventure. I built this place out of trees and trash, Adam, because we didn't have any money. So even though people want to slag on me, like, you don't need to send Stephen Cambian a super chat because he has a cabin. He must got lots of money. No, I got lots of passion for building a cabin, and I built this place out of trees and trash. Truly, that's what this place was built out of. The window behind you, this huge window, I have two of them here on this wall. It's like these are picture windows. And it's great because they face the side of the cabin, and there's almost always deer walking through there. There's like a trail. So it's nice to sit in here and just sit in here in front of those windows and see the deer and other animals. But that window was actually a sliding glass door from, a sliding glass door. So we recycled the glass and turned it into a picture window. And the stuff you see in the walls is really just logs. So lots of trees. Yeah. And, by the way, my wife jinxed us. She got me this shirt for Father's Day. It's a Papa Bear shirt, right? And right after she did that, neighbors started sending me pictures of this huge male papa bear, big bear, the biggest that we've seen up here on the road right near my cabin, the dirt road that leads to my cabin. And boy, that's scary, because I had quite an encounter with a bear half that size and almost shit my pants. So I don't want to see that big bear. In fact, I'm putting in some bear alarms and some other things. I'm going to put a siren on we have sort of a utility pole outside, you know. I'm going to put a siren up because they don't like loud noise, and generally they'll go running if they hear loud noises. So I'm going to put a siren up, and if I see them, I'm going to blast them with the air horn and an electric siren. Hopefully that will be enough to dissuade him from hanging around my cabin, right? The key is to kind of get them to move to less populated parts of the forest here where we're at. Tangible Block of Wisdom says Dr. Stephen Greed reporting for money. Yeah, that's kind of the point. And isn't it funny that Emery Smith got his start as a so-called bodyguard for Dr. Stephen Greed. And I think that hanging out with Dr. Stephen Greed, who is a very successful UFO con artist, Emery Smith's wheels started turning, and he started thinking, if this dude's making all this money, maybe I can make all this money if I make up some UFO shit. And boy, did he make up some UFO bullshit. Out of Mind says air horn, Stephen. Yeah, I have an air horn, but I thought I would also put, I just so happen to have a siren, like from an old alarm system that's 12 volt, and I can easily hook that up. And it's also going to be to alert my neighbors that within, because that electric siren, you'll be able to hear that for about 2 miles out from here. And I'm going to make sure my neighbors know, if you hear that siren, that means the bear's in the area. And people appreciate that, because people have children that are playing in the backyard here. Some people actually have cleared. I try to keep my place just woodsy, right? There's no grass. There's trees and there's gravel, because I don't want to cut grass here, you know. But I keep my place very woodsy. But a few of my neighbors have, like, you know, they cleared all the trees out and they got sod and grass. And the kids are just playing in the backyard, little kids. And they, you know, if there's a bear around, we want to know. We all want to know. I got 2 boys, you know, 5 and 9. If there's a bear and they're outside, I'm always with them. But still, if there's a bear and my kids are outside the cabin, I want to know about it. It's very dangerous. Out of Mind says, don't mess with that bear, Steve. No, I don't plan to. I came within a few feet of a bear last year, and that was a mama bear who charged at me. I put on, and by the way, if you want to see the picture of the bear, oh, it's on Twitter. I'll share it, actually, because it's kind of funny. Oh, first I got to go to Twitter. So hold on 1 second. Bear with me, friends. Yeah, there's a big ass bear, and my neighbors are all sending me pictures. And it kind of worries me, because a few neighbors sent me this picture. One neighbor that lives in a tiny house off in the woods about a mile from me has trail cams all around his property. So he sent me a picture of this bear. And then my neighbor across the street from me was driving down one of the dirt roads and got a picture of the bear. And yeah, that's pretty scary. Oh, and I also just wanted to mention there's some sad news. John McAfee, antivirus software creator and technological innovator, found dead in a Spanish jail. And of course, Conspiracy Land is already saying he got Epsteined. Even Tim Pool, I was surprised to hear, did a show this evening called John McAfee Got Epsteined. And there's, at first, somebody on my Twitter feed said, oh, I don't believe he killed himself. You know, he was under a lot of pressure. He was probably going to spend the rest of his life in jail, and he just decided not to do that. He didn't want to deal with that. And I kind of went, yeah, I agree with you. But then I started remembering, and people were sending me posts where he explicitly said, I will never, ever kill myself. If I kill myself, it's because somebody Epsteined me. He even claimed that the government was threatening to kill him or suicide him some time ago. But boy, John McAfee liked conspiracy theories, and he liked deep state cover-up stuff. In fact, for those unaware, I once interviewed John McAfee, and interestingly, off when we're finished with the interview, he said, "Hey, is this your cell phone number?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "So your whole show is like conspiracy land stuff, right? Like UFOs and government cover-ups." And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Good, good. Is it okay if I call you if I have questions about certain things?" And I go, "Okay, John McAfee, you know." So every so often, every few months after the interview, he might have called me like 4 or 5 times after the interview. Most recently about, I don't know, it had to be a year and a half or maybe even longer ago before he got in legal trouble and was in jail again. He would call me and ask me weird questions about stuff. You know, like he called me once and he was obviously drunk. He was notorious. Oh, this is funny. Now he's dead. I don't think he'll mind, right? God rest his soul. But when we did the interview, I swear to God, before the interview, before we went live on air, you know, I see him on the screen. He's on a Zoom call session with me, and it was an audio interview only. He goes, "You're not taking the video from this, are you, Stephen?" And I go, "No, no." And he goes, "Oh, good. Then I can be comfortable." And he gets up, and then he comes back with a bag of white powder and a huge bottle of wine. And I'm not kidding you. In that 1-hour interview, I think he killed both of them. He killed both this huge bottle of wine and a big, you know. And then he's like, "Do you got a mute button?" And I go, "Yeah, why?" He goes, "You might want to mute it now." And I go, "Okay." And I muted him. And then he went, but then I saw him just go down on the table like this. Craziest interview that I've ever done. Craziest interview that I've ever done. A lot can be said about John McAfee. I like the guy. I thought he was a technical innovator. He was extremely intelligent and innovative. And I don't know, I found him to be like charismatic. You just liked him. Like you just instantly liked him when you talked to him. And I, for one, am very sad that he's gone. I just want to make note. You know, I don't think, out of respect for him, I don't think we'll be covering any of the conspiracy land rumors, which really, that's what they are. We're never going to know, I don't think, what really happened, or if, you know, he was just truly despondent at the thought of spending the rest of his life in prison and said, "I'm checking out." I don't know. I don't have any answers, but I just wanted to share my experience with John McAfee and say I would have liked to consider him like a friend, right? Well, on one of those occasions, I asked him for some advice on a business venture, and he gave me some very good advice. And this was in the technical field. I'm trying to start a computer startup. He was at the same time interesting. He was a little scary, you know, like he would call me at odd hours. Every time he called me, it was something weird. It was like 5 o'clock in the morning, or it was like 2 o'clock in the morning, and he had no concept of time zones, right? And usually he'd call me and he'd say like, "What do you know about government surveillance drones?" And I'd go, "Well, you know, yeah, of course the government has a lot of stuff." And he goes, "Well, I have a feeling that they've got a lot of drones on me, Stephen." And he was a little paranoid and stuff. And I go, "Well, yeah, they could. They definitely could. They could have something 5 miles up that you don't even see, John." And then he goes, "Yeah, that's what I was talking about. They might have some high altitude." And I go, "Oh, yeah, John, that's unfortunate. You know, maybe you should find, you know, a safer place." And he notoriously like lived in a Faraday cage. For those that don't know what that is, it's a metal box that blocks all electronic signals. So he would go in a Faraday cage without a cell phone, so that in a big Faraday cage, like he had the whole room decked out like a Faraday cage, so that he could not be surveilled, tracked, you know, listened in on. And I found his sort of paranoia both, I don't know, somewhat amusing and scary at the same time, because he really was, he believed it. He wasn't like goofing on me. He really was that paranoid. In fact, you know, I explained to him that somebody that I knew in federal law enforcement said, "Oh, we think he's here," during one of our conversations off air. And he said, "They think I'm where?" And I said, "Oh, I think at the time, the contact source that I had thought that John McAfee was in South America with a ship, right? And it turns out he was someplace totally different. But he pumped me. "You better tell me who who told you that. I want to know who told you that, Stephen. And I'm like, it's a source, man. And I don't want to burn the source. I can't really tell you, John, I'm sorry. And he goes, Stephen, I thought we were honest with each other. I thought we were friends. I won't burn your source. I just want to know who's telling you I'm in South America, because I'm not in South America, Stephen. I'm definitely not in South America. And then I had a feeling he might be in South America, and that's why he was getting pissed at me, right? Strange. And these phone calls would come out of nowhere, and then he would just ask me strange questions, usually about government cover-ups, government surveillance. He did ask me some questions about like Tor browser and things. He's asking me if I'm using these. He's like, you're using Tor browser, right? You don't want to use anything else because they can track everything you do. You know? And then he told me, do you know somebody's keeping track, Stephen, of every porn you watch? And I'm like, okay. Who would keep track of my porn selections, John? He's like, the deep state, Stephen. They're keeping track of it. And they can use that shit against you. He's like, what if you're watching midget porn? What if you're watching gay porn? They're going to know, and they can use it against you. So right after that, I started using Tor browser to watch pornography on the internet. Thank you, John McAfee. I don't want to appear too jovial, but, these are just some funny stories about John that I could share. I am truly sad, and I really am going to miss his weird phone calls that I would get. I don't know, every 3-4 months, he would call me out of the blue. One time he called me to ask me about Roswell and what I thought about it. And that was kind of a cool conversation. But you know what pissed me off is that I go, John, we could have these conversations on air, and I would really pump up my numbers. I'd really appreciate it. He's like, no, this is just personal. I don't want to do that. And I go, oh, okay, So yeah, the legend, the rebel, the renegade, software pioneer, John McAfee, is gone. God rest his soul. Rest in peace, John McAfee. I for one, will miss him. Jeanette Krasenko says, I really enjoyed his charisma. Yeah, I did not intend to really like the guy that much. But after the interview and talking to him on the phone, and it was so weird to me, John McAfee is calling my cell phone just to talk. It was weird, but he did. I'm telling you, Jeanette, he gave me some excellent advice about my startup, which honestly, I haven't put half that advice into practice yet, which is probably a problem, right? I should. I should definitely do what he told me to do. I'm having difficulty doing it. I'm like a one-man army, but it was excellent advice, and I probably still will. And you're right. He was very charismatic. You couldn't help but like him. He always had some kind of weird joke, Yeah. And he had that whole ode to butt sex, right? Ode to assholes, because assholes are much tighter than vaginas. That's what Jeanette, that's what he said. He has a whole video explaining why he likes butt sex, because buttholes are much tighter than vaginas, right? He was a wild and crazy guy, and I'm sure going to miss him. Did you speak with him in prison? Coprophiliac. I don't even know what that means. What is a coprophiliac? I don't know. You're a dumb guy. You're a dumb guy when your live chat is using words too big for you. But, there is a dictionary. Marked interest in excrement, the use of feces or filth for sexual excitement. That's something I didn't need to know. Yeah, I did not know that he had that. I know he was big into butt sex. He really liked anal sex. That's what I am aware of. He was also a noted VC in Silicon Valley. And Shirashi says, charismatic but extra nutty. Yeah, he was, but it was a good nuttiness, if you ask me. And the world needs strange, interesting people. So I, for one, really enjoyed every chance I got to talk to him. And what's interesting is that even though he would call me out of the blue, I wasn't allowed to have his cell phone number. I think he did not have a traditional cell phone. He had some kind of weird privacy rights satellite phone, which he used to call me, and the number came up private. even my, I've got like, that caller ID on your cell phone. Everybody has. It just was like private number. It didn't come up. So yeah, he could call me, but I couldn't ever call him. And I kept asking for a second interview, but I never did get one. And here we can see my wood stove and my fire going, keeping me warm here. It's a very chilly night here at the cabin. People always enjoy the brown. Nicholas Krupa says venture capitalist. Yeah. What's interesting is he would not invest in my startup, though. Nicholas Krupas. He's like, yeah, Steve, I think it's a great idea. I think you should go for it. It's just that one's not for me. Not enough money in what you're going to do. It's going to be really awesome from a science thing, but I don't know it's going to be that profitable for, a long time. It's a long haul project, and I do short-term projects. So I was like, great. Guy's a billionaire. He could have given me like millions to start my company, but but hey, I didn't want to pressure them. I offered. I go, he was intimately involved in some of my earlier plans that still haven't panned out, but maybe someday they will. Nicholas Krupus, Dirty Sanchez. Yeah, I had to look that one up too. Jill could have Urban Dictionary for us. Jolly Bridge Burner. Yeah, considering I've been mentioning butt sex and all this other stuff. Yeah, I'm not monetizing this one. Okay. And by the way, this whole monetization thing, it's funny how people were so jealous and triggered when I got monetized, like I hit the lottery or something. But so far, and I'm not, let's be very clear, I'm not complaining, but I'm just saying that, the money from everything. We have the Patreon, we have the PayPal donations, we have the super chats. I just signed up for a buy me a coffee, but I made it buy me a beer because I'm not a coffee drinker. And the money from we don't have ads on the YouTube videos yet. I may turn them on, but I kind of thought it would be best not to. But we still may do that. But my point is that from all these income sources, it's really like a part-time wage, which is all I really expected or would hope for. I would hope for more going forward as we continue to grow the show. But I just think it's funny. All these people got so triggered over me getting monetized, and it's literally like, all together with the audio podcast ads. I think we're just past $3 for the month after we give Spreaker their $7. It's not a lot of money. Aquarian Gray says, I think getting monetized is great. Good for you. Thank you. See, that's what somebody that's a good person. People are either jealous of your success or happy for it. I am one to be happy for other people's success. Can I be jealous at the same time? Sometimes I'm like, damn, that dude got a really great new job or whatever. I'm not usually one to be jealous over people's money or things like that, though. I'm more jealous of people's accomplishments. My old musician friend just released a new album because I know how hard that is to do, right? And I'll be jealous, like, wow, especially if the album starts getting a lot of attention, right? Or doing very well. FGraph72 says, make a buck, Steven. I'm trying. I am here trying to praise the cash, right? That's what I'm here trying to do. I am here trying my very best to produce good shows, and whenever possible, hopefully people will appreciate what I'm doing here and throw money at me. That's right. You too can throw money at me. There is a super chat button, the money button down there in the super chat, or down there in the chat, right? And you too can help support our show and help me praise the cash. McAfee didn't kill himself, didn't trend until after the Q post on his Instagram was posted, which was shortly after his supposed death. I can't seem to access the Instagram now for some reason. Yeah, conspiracies theories already starting, Sixth Sense, as I predicted they would as soon as I heard the news. I'm a proud patron. Yeah, and thank you very much for that, FGraph72. Longtime show supporter. We appreciate your kindness, your generosity, and support. Adam says you should get something for your work. Yeah, time. One thing I learned it from Bill Gates' book, actually, and I didn't know this, but Bill Gates is crazy about time management, because the one thing that even he, as a billionaire, can't buy, there's only one thing that he can't purchase, and that is time. So he guards his time, and certainly time has value, and if I'm going to put the time in, I want to get some benefit from it. And, my rationale and reasoning is I could go work at some part-time job at night that I hate after I take care of my autistic son all day, or I can do this and not hate my life or want to blow my brains out. For those of you that don't know, I spent 20 plus years in a cubicle, what I call cubicle farms. If you don't know what a cubicle farm is, look it up. It's a big, huge office building full of 1,000 people sitting in little cubicles that all want to kill themselves, because that is a terrible existence, and I wouldn't wish it on an enemy of mine. It is terrible existence to go sit for 10 hours a day in a tiny little cubicle, staring at a computer screen, doing work that is largely meaningless, right? It doesn't matter. Whatever you're doing doesn't matter. It didn't matter. It didn't matter what work I did. It just was soul crushing to sit there in that little cubicle and have to do that shit. And at some point I just said, I'm not doing this anymore. I'd rather be broke. I'd rather be broke. I mean, the only thing I would say is that if my children were hungry, or, I didn't have funds available to feed my children, I would go back to a cubicle farm in a minute, because you got to do what you got to do to take care of your family, to take care of your children. But if I was without children, I would rather be homeless and hungry than go back to that. That's how much I hated it. So I don't want to go back to corporate cubicle land. One of the things that is important that people don't seem to understand about those kind of jobs is that there's, number one, everybody can understand that they're soul crushing, right? But they're also just detrimental to people like me. I'm very creative. I'm very artistic. I like to work on creative artistic projects. And if I'm just sitting there, counting somebody else's money all day on a spreadsheet, or trying to balance spreadsheets or balance payments, I worked in accounting. It's just soul crushing. And it also, you do that for 10 hours and you can't even really, you don't have the energy to go and do whatever on the side. Like, for the longest time, I worked in a cubicle for 10 hours, and then I would go home, throw something down my throat, and go to band practice 3 nights a week. And then the weekends I would play rock shows. But eventually you start getting older and you just you don't have that kind of stamina anymore. So the cubicle job kills the one thing in your life that you love, because you can't do both. It was terrible. I don't wish it on my worst enemy. Hey, thank you, Abraham, for the kindness and generosity and support. I love the alien dance video in the beginning. Where can I access music from the video? I'll put a link in the description later. You can download my video and cut it out, I suppose, or I can try to post it somewhere for you, like Google Drive. But thank you for your kindness, your generosity, and your support. I truly appreciate it. This is a viewer-supported show, and you are helping to support the show. That means that your $5 will go towards making more and better shows just like this one. So if you enjoy the content and want to see more, throw some more money at me. That's what you got to do. Thank you, Abraham. I just want to thank you. I think that's the first time I've seen you donate. I love new Super Chat donators. It does my heart good to see that people are seeing, hearing, and helping, right? So, Abraham, just for you, I will say, praise the cash. Praise the cash. Thank God. Hallelujah. I do not have to sit in a fucking cubicle and want to blow my fucking brains out. I could do something like this, something that suits my artistic talents and creative talents, instead of some meaningless shit job that I can't stand, working for people that I hate, right? I can do this instead, and people all over the globe are going to bless me and bless my show for following my dreams and praising the cash. Praise the cash. Praise the cash. Thank God Almighty. Hallelujah. Abraham sent me $5. Praise his $5 and praise all our Super Chat donators tonight. Thank you all for your kindness and your generosity. Praise the cash, friends. Yeah, but really, thank you. Yeah, but I truly mean it. I would much rather do this than want to blow my brains out in some cubicle farm job. Okay, Jolly Bridge Burner says, been a bunch of interesting articles and interviews about PM letter of the alphabet ties, and of course the priest is making meal out of it. Lee Veltman, 6 cents. Yeah, I don't know why anybody is still following that letter of the alphabet. It's pretty clear that it was all made up horse shit. Lee Veltman, why are people are still doing this shit? Really? It's crazy. Oh, and also for those that don't know, boy, talk about lots of drama lately. So, yeah. Yeah, and yeah, FGraph72 reminding everybody, and you can smash that almighty like button. Yeah, there's another way to help us here. Brother, can you spare $1? If not, there's another great way to help me. And that, of course, the best other way to help us here at the show, if you want to help us out, is to like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help raise us in the search engine. Smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you know about new shows every time they happen. Really, it really does help. And of course, it would really help us if you could like, comment, and subscribe. Or better yet, send some of our video links to your friends through DMs and PMs. Post them on Instagram, post them on Facebook, post these videos on your Twitter. Follow me at Stephen Cambion on Twitter and retweet when you see me tweet out the show. That will help rise us in the search engines and help the AI algorithm gods find favor in us. And I just want to say my daily prayer. Praise the AI algorithm gods. My life is in your hands. Please find favor in us and let more people find us. And please do not strike me down because I may have said that letter of the alphabet, boo, earlier. I do not support boo. I think it's horseshit. And I do not want to be stricken down by the AI algorithm gods for even mentioning that letter of the alphabet, boo. So I am sorry and I beg your forgiveness, AI algorithm gods. Please find favor in us. Let new people find us. Do not strike us down, but rather rise us up. Because I am partners with you, AI algorithm god. And for every dollar I make, you keep 30 cents of it. We are partners in this thing. And I praise and worship the AI algorithm gods. In Google's name, amen. That's all I could do. You know, it's funny. I interviewed a Catholic exorcist who started talking about the current health crisis and, you know, where the lab where it may have come from, and I go, oh no, Father, no. and I almost pulled the whole. This is how paranoid this stuff is making me. I almost pulled the entire video down because I thought I'm going to get stricken down. I'm going to get a strike for this, but I don't know if you're allowed to say anything about the lab and the that stuff anymore. I know that people were getting channel strikes for even talking about it before. But now I think the pendulum might be swinging the other way now, but I still am paranoid. And every time I gotta do a better job informing my guests because, I told them in advance, we don't talk about this and we don't talk about this at all because YouTube really doesn't like it. He forgot. No problem. But yeah. Wow, good for you, 6 cents. I did not know that. Hold on. 6 cents says I got over 30,000 views for my Cappy audio breakdown. It's going slow now, though. Lee Veltman. Oh, interesting. Good for you. You should have given it to me as a Truthseekers exclusive so I could get 30,000 views. I'm not getting 30,000 views on any of my videos. Fuck you, 6 cents. No, I'm kidding. Congratulations, man. There's hope for all of us. If you could get 30,000 views, then so could I. And you know what? Here's something that's funny. Every single show where before I do the show, I go, this is going to get huge numbers. I know this show's going to be great. People are going to love this. I'm going to get huge numbers on this show. Every time I say that, the show gets nothing. Or not nothing, but so much less, right, than I expected, which is funny, you know. Like here's a perfect example. Okay, so the show that I thought was going to get huge views. Oh, actually, it's up a lot from where it was earlier this morning. So I did a show with a Catholic priest exorcist called Interview with an Exorcist. If you haven't checked it out, please do check it out, because I think it's one of the best shows that I've ever done. It's certainly one of my favorite interviews that I've ever done, because after all, how many people get to interview a Catholic priest exorcist who spends his time literally battling demons? I thought it was a fantastic interview. I'm always very critical of myself, and I rarely listen back to a whole show because I think that's like, some people have a big ego, or, you know, that's like taking a victory lap. Sometimes I do, though. And this one I listened to, and I was very pleased. I thought I did a very good job on the interview. And this did not get very many views, 452 views so far, which is disappointing. I thought it was going to get thousands and thousands of views, because there's only a few long-form interviews with real Catholic priest exorcists on all of YouTube. So I thought, this is a niche, you know, people are gonna, nope, 482 views. And meanwhile, the next day I do a show on Emery Smith's Dramarama, and that one's got 700 views. So I'm gonna stop thinking about view counts before I do a show, because I'm never accurate. And some of the weird ones that I didn't think were very good get the most, right? Thank you. Adam Bonifate says, The Exorcist show was awesome. I watched the whole thing. And thank you, because you're increasing my watch time. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. F. Graff says, I would hope you would get a wave of view for a week. AJ says it was a great interview. Yeah, I think it was a really good one. I'm not bad. I'm really good at automating stuff, adding lighting, etc. Why don't you come to my studio, Rogue Status? Were you still going to do that? You're welcome. Yeah. My wife may make you wash your hands a lot, right? And socially distant. But yeah, I'm allowed to have a guest, I think. And you live real close, and I could really use a producer. You know, I keep saying it. You can come and hang out anytime, Rogue Status, especially if you work for cheap or free. Free, you're hired. I'm barely making Taco Bell wages. I can't afford to pay a producer Taco Bell wages on top of that. Yeah, so oh, Terry Joyce is here from Not My Rabbit Hole with Terry Joyce. That's right. It's not my rabbit hole. It's Terry Joyce's rabbit hole with Not My Rabbit Hole with Terry Joyce. You guys should go over. I said yesterday or the other day, she's making me feel lazy because she's pumping out all this content. But then I realized some of that stuff's re-uploads, Terry Joyce. You're not making that many shows in a week. That's horse shit. No. But she's making me feel lazy because she's pumping out all these videos, and I'm doing like, 3 or 4 a week now. And Terry, I'm going back and forth. Half of me is like, you're being lazy. You've got the time. You've got the subject matter. I've got all these folders with research stuff that I could do shows on, and I never get to half of them. So half of me thinks I'm being lazy and I should do 6 or 8 shows a week. And the other half of me says 3's plenty. Because then you're doing 3 good shows and not filler shows. But, Rogue Status says, I was talking about a circuit machine I purchased. I don't know what a circuit machine is, but I want to hear about it, Rogue Status. I'm a nerd, I'm a tech geek, right? I am, since I was a kid, I loved electronics and computers and shit like that, robots, model rockets. Rogue Status says the Exorcist show was effing cool. I think so too. And I've already heard back from Father Mike, and he's agreed to come back in the future, hopefully, which I think is really, really good, right? I'm really glad. And I've got more news. We have the assistant of one of these exorcists, which we are going to. She does like the intake and talks to people on the phone, and she helps the priests prepare for the exorcisms and schedules them and things. Okay, we'll interview her because she's got a great deal of knowledge about demons and demonology. So I thought it would be good. Not My Rabbit Hole says, I'm in the middle of moving, so a little slow. Are you moving like the trailer somewhere new? Is that what you're doing? I thought you had an RV, right? I was sorry I missed it, but I suppose it was just as well. Okay. I got to check out Cherry Joy's show. Keep hearing about it. Yeah. Yeah, go over there and subscribe to Not My Rabbit Hole with Terry Joyce. And Terry, I think, are you a moderator in the live chat? If not, Sixth Sense or somebody else, please put her YouTube channel in a link in the live chat, and people can just click the link and go right over and go subscribe. We've got, 50 people watching. If half of you go over there, that would really help her out. Oh, okay. She is moving the RV. Oh, I'm sorry. I missed it. I am moving the RV. Yeah, good. I hope you're moving someplace better, because I know you're having problems where you're at. I was worried about you, Terry Joyce. I was going to send you some guns. Guns help every situation, especially like you were having. You got some crazy people fucking around with you, living around you. You need views. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, Sixth Sense. Okay, Terry. Terry says she is moving someplace better. Good. Good for you, girl. You go, girl. You get your cool life on. That's what you should do. So, gee, folks, I don't know if she's gonna do this. Girl's gonna do like a part 4 of this, and we're gonna have to cover it because we're already so deep in here into this drama-rama. Okay, let's see. Cry cut machine cuts out vinyl for decals and t-shirts and shit. Sounds good to me. Yeah. I've always wanted a CNC machine, Rogue Status, and a 3D printer, but everybody that I know that got a 3D printer, almost everybody that I know that has 3D printers has nothing but problems with them. They're always breaking. They don't work reliably. And what you get out, you need to spend, hours sanding and body puttying and sanding again. So I'm kind of waiting to see if they come up with better stuff, right? Yeah, so I see my fires going out over here, and I got to go outside to get more firewood. So we're going to wrap things up here. I'm going to have a cozy night at the cabin. I'm going to kick back and drink a few beers. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us. I want to especially thank our super chatters tonight. You guys really do help get the show continuing to move forward. Thanks, Sixth Sense. There is Terry Joyce YouTube channel. Please go over there and subscribe to her. And if you're not already, make sure you subscribe to our channel here, right? I could use a bigger bullhorn. That's what I want. I want a bigger bullhorn, which will give us increased viewership and may help to move the ball forward. So I'm going to thank each and every one of you for joining us. It has been a crazy, bumpy ride through this Emery Smith drama-rama. But if he does another one, we're going to cover it. If she does another video, I'll cover it. Because we're too deep down that rabbit hole. I got to see what's at the bottom. But I think she pretty much told most of the story. So if she does another one, it shouldn't be too long, hopefully. I don't know. We'll see. And I'm going to invite her on the show. I don't know if she'll come on, but I can invite her and see what she says, hopefully. So, friends, I'm always happy when there's an audience. I apologize for starting late tonight and keeping you guys up late. Some of you are on different time zones. We have an international audience, so I guess it really doesn't matter. But I want to thank you for being in the audience. Always happy when there's an audience. So happy you could come here tonight and spend some quality time. There's no place I would have rather been tonight, and I hope you agree. So until next time, friends, my name is Stephen Cambion. Good night. God bless all of you.